Living the good fat life with your host Karen and Sherri. They'll help everything align for your body, soul, and mind. The good fat life. Whether change comes slow or dramatically, the good fat life will help you sort things out organically.
Here we are again.
I needed to hear that this morning.
Yeah.
I had the booster yesterday or the day before, and it just knocked me flat.
Yeah, it kind of shows on you, I have to say. I can see that you're a little bit, a couple layers gone today.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but the nice thing is I so look forward to Thursdays and recording and being with you and our guests. And,
and after you heard that song, you got the
exactly.
sparkle back in your eyes.
Sparkle,
so,
a little.
So welcome back.
And Team Johnny.
Yeah, Team Johnny and Grant and everybody here.
And everybody here. So,
and our guests, we always have a great guest, right?
Yes, we do. We do. So our guest today, I mean, how's things going with you?
Things are shifting and changing, right? Like always. And it seems to be, rapid, but it's beautiful, right?
Yeah. I guess
can you believe it's December? I mean, what's happening with the weather?
I know. Yeah. It's odd. I was trying to shift to clothes for, 20 degrees and minus, and now we're in the 50s.
Right. It's weird, right?
Yeah, exactly. It is weird, but it's just, I guess the weather's congruent with the world that we live in.
For sure. Yeah. And, trying to map out your life and design what it's supposed to look like and what you're supposed to be doing in this time is very strange. So it's so great to have a guest that designs so well.
Yes, she does. She does. And so that said, our guest today is Jennifer Knuston. Do you want to bring her on in?
Oh,
hey Jen.
Hi.
Jennifer is the brilliance behind the look and feel of Good Fat Life, the magazine, right?
Yeah.
She does our, I don't even know what you say. What are the right words, Jen, to just say what you do?
Graphic designer.
Okay.
Sometimes art director. I mean, it's everything.
Yeah.
So Jen, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and then I want to hear the story of how you two met. Sort of. This is the first time you guys are seeing each other, even though you've worked together forever.
We've worked together for what? Almost 4 years.
Has it been 4 years?
We're just starting. Actually, we're starting into the 5th year, but the 4th year of the magazine.
Time flies.
This is the first time you guys are seeing each other's face, right?
Yeah.
I know. Well, I see her picture all the time when I place it in the magazine, so I feel like I've already known her. But usually we're talking on the phone. So
yeah. So go ahead. So tell us a little bit about you, and I also want to say that Jen is really a fascinating person, and she will minimize this, but she does a lot of things really, really well. And Jen, please touch on those two.
I'm excited to hear about your Etsy shop, Jen, too,
and your Book of the Box Club, and I want to deep dive into that as well. Is one of the things that Jen does that I just find so inspiring is that she has built a number of companies are based on what she loves to do.
Right?
Really?
That's the secret of life, I'm guessing,
right?
It
It is the secret. She's living the good fat life because she's identified. Well, you talk about it, Jen. It's fascinating to me, and I'm just so inspired every time I talk to you.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, I mean, that's how 4 years go by in a snap, because you're doing what you love and what you enjoy. And like you all were talking about, things are always changing and evolving. And it just keeps life interesting. So, I mean, I've been a graphic designer for over 20 years, I guess. I kind of fell into it. I graduated from college from Moorhead State University back in Minnesota. With an English degree, thought I was going to become a teacher. And then when I got out of school, it was like a drought for education. There was just no teaching jobs anywhere. And I just answered an ad for an advertising agency and got hired and wrote some copy for about a year or so in Minneapolis. And then reconnected with my husband. We were friends in college, and then saw each other again out of college and fell in love immediately. And I moved to
Mm.
Wisconsin, and I applied for a job as a graphic designer at Menards in their in-house ad agency. And the supervisor was she was a retired like Marine lieutenant or something. And she didn't like me because I had a college education, and she liked to train people who to do things the way that she wanted it to be done. And she's like, "Well, you've got one strike against you because you have a degree, I guess, but
Wow.
you don't know anything about graphic design, so that way I can train you so you can do things the way I want you to do." And I just like took to it immediately. And I'm like completely computer illiterate. I
Mm.
mean, with PCs, but with a Macintosh. And she taught me everything I knew, and I just fell in love with it. So I've
Awesome.
been designing for 20, 25, 26 years now. And we lived
How
in
long did you?
Michigan.
I'm sorry. How long were you at Menards for?
I was at Menards for about 3 years, I guess, and that they were based out of Eau Claire, Wisconsin, where my
Mm-hmm.
husband's from. He's from Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a pilot. And he got a job in Waterford, Michigan, and I was 6 months pregnant at the time, and we packed everything up, moved to Michigan, and yeah, he was a pilot, and he still is, and he was flying all the time. And I worked at I was a ad director and art director for a healthcare magazine for about 4 or 5 years. And then I became the art director for Bordine's Nursery over
Oh,
in
Oh,
fun. I
there
Rochester,
love
near
New York.
us.
Bordines.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love Bordines.
Yes,
Yeah.
love it.
Mm-hmm.
Gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
But becoming an art director for a very busy, flower just
Nursery
empire.
company. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Emporium. Yeah.
Yeah, Emporium. And my husband was flying all the time. And by then I had two babies. I had a newborn and a 2 year old. I think my daughter was two, 2.5. And it was that commute from Rochester Hills to Waterford was sometimes an hour, over an hour. And I was working 6 days a week. And I remember coming home one night and I was so tired. And I was like, oh, great. I'll be able to kiss the kids goodnight, pick them up from daycare, feed them really quick, kiss them goodnight, and collapse, because he was probably on a trip. And he was setting up a iMac in the kitchen with the kids and said, you need to quit your job. If you're not happy, you can do this from home. You can work anywhere. You can find it. I have faith in you. And so yeah,
Wow.
Wow.
What a
What a
gift.
nice husband. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
What
it
a
was
supportive.
wonderful. So then I've been working freelance for my youngest son. He'll be 21 in March. So I've been working freelance for about 20 years now.
Oh, wow. Just a
Yeah.
quick little side note. My daughter, it's her birthday today. And when she was a
Oh.
little girl, when she was 3, she wanted to have her birthday party at Menards. And
Oh, did she?
I never took her there or anything. And I kept saying, Menards? Like, are you sure Menards? She's like, yeah, Menards. So whatever you did, if you were in graphics then, she loved it because she really wanted to go there for her birthday. I said, I don't think the other kids will understand. That was not funny.
That's great.
That's hysterical.
But so you started working from home, and then how did you and Sherry meet?
Well, I started working from home, and I was doing it was a magazine that just had ads in them. They were Hometown Connection. They were real big in different areas. And then I saw a women's magazine, and it was in at the grocery store at the checkout, and it was free, and it was by Maria Savoy, and she had done My Metro U magazine. I think that's what it was called in the beginning. And I flipped through it, and I was like, wow, a local woman just started this up from nothing. And so I just emailed her on a whim and said, this is beautiful. I know you're putting it together, but if you ever need any help, I love to help women. I love to help women run businesses. And if there's anything I can do to help, just let me know. And she emailed me back like within a week and said, I'm looking for a new designer. Come on board. And we worked together for about 10 years, 10, 11 years. And that's how I met Sherri. I met
Mm-hmm.
Sherri through Maria.
So,
Wow.
so that goes back to starting the magazine, right? So when I heard that voice in
Mm-hmm.
my head from my grandpa, start a magazine, I'm like, I don't know. I know nothing
Mm-hmm.
about this. Um, and I heard, that intuition. It said, don't worry. The people that you need will show up
Mm-hmm.
as you need them.
Mm-hmm.
And so then Maria showed up and Jen showed up. And
Yeah.
Maria does
We were
magazine.
a package.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Maria does teaches people how to start magazines and how to have magazines and or the magazine business, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And Jen, and she's like, oh, and here's Jen. She can do the layout
Yeah.
for you if you're willing to take on another one. And that's kind of how it
That
happened.
was your ladder, right?
That was my ladder, exactly.
So, Jen, we talk about, if you want to build a skyscraper, but you don't know how, just find someone that has a ladder. And then they have a ladder, find someone that has a hammer, and then you were her
Absolutely.
ladder. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my whole motto for my whole life has always been jump and a net will appear. So jump and a net will appear.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I've just always, was like, oh, I like that. Let me
Mm-hmm.
see who does it,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe I can learn something from them, or maybe I can help them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've done with everything that I'm doing now. I just like reached out and on a whim, and but maybe it's that voice, inside of
Mm-hmm.
you that's saying you need to contact this person. This person might be
Mm-hmm.
a good person to know, and
Mm-hmm.
so
Well, that's
yeah.
interesting because that's kind of what I did with Sherri too. I saw her magazine and I reached out to her and said, I like the magazine. And then I'm like, I don't know, but I think I could help you with this. So I sort of did
Mhm.
that as well. Yeah. Yeah.
It's you know what? It's really good to hear this today, right?
Mm-hmm.
It just
Mm-hmm.
is. There's
Mhm.
just so much going on, um, and yeah, it's just good to hear I, how it continues to happen,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's a
Mm-hmm.
reminder because sometimes we get so in the trenches and then kind of in the weeds. It's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
well, and that forgetting that. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
oh my
And,
gosh.
and we also forget that we can start out someplace and then if it's not resonating more, move to a different spot too,
Yeah,
right? You know what
yeah,
I mean? So
yeah.
it's all movement and you'll jump and a net will come.
And the net will
yeah.
come. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
So this is just so interesting to hear because some of this I don't know these things about you,
Yeah.
but yeah, you've been such an integral part of our team since the get
Oh,
go.
Mm-hmm. And I
yeah, it's
wanted
like
to tell you. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh no, I mean I work on a couple different magazines and they're all women produced and women led and yeah, I just like to help forward that and I love working behind the scenes and
It
yeah.
sounds like you found sort of your North Star and your vision and then lifted other people up. And that's really probably why you're a success. I think those are all the ingredients to
I've been
being a
lucky to
success.
have a very supportive husband
Yeah, it sounds like it.
who has a
That's really
very good
important. That's
career.
really, and yeah, Sherry, you have that as well. Bob's
Yeah,
always in the
yeah. No,
background.
he's
Yeah,
great.
he's awesome.
And my
It,
family, yeah.
Yeah.
it does make a difference. But so talk, Jen, tell us a little bit then about your Etsy and your book of the box. What
Oh
the
yeah.
that was one of my favorite things in the magazine.
Oh, is
This
this a blind date book or a
Yeah,
blind date with a book? Or,
blind date with a book. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Well, so since I was a graphic designer, I really want to be present in my children's lives. And if you hear them tell it, I was probably too present. But I wanted to be like the room mom and the party mom and take go on the field trips with them. And I
Mm-hmm.
was able to do that because, you work around you can work around the schedule and be there. And so yeah, I just like threw my myself into their lives. And when my oldest daughter went off to Western University for college, I was like, what do I do now? I mean, I was still working and my son was still here, but he's more independent and he's a boy, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
he wanted to have his be with his friends and be in his room or whatever. And so I'm like, I have all this free time, what am I going to do? And so then I thought, well, I'm a graphic designer. I can make things, and things always kind of struck me as funny. And I'm like, oh, I'd like to see that saying on a shirt, or oh, I'd like to put that on a cup or whatever. So I started an Etsy store.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like you sell fun things that say fun, have fun graphics on them, like cups and
Yeah,
such. Yeah.
like little sarcastic sayings, So
Can you give us an
They are
example?
pretty funny.
Can you give us an example of one?
oh well, one of the biggest selling sweatshirts right now is "I'm not a regular mom, I'm a cool mom." That's from Mean Girls,
Yeah. Yeah.
And did I roll my eyes out loud? I'm sorry, did I roll my eyes out loud?
Oh, I need that
Yeah.
one from my husband.
Yeah,
He does that a lot.
a very popular one is "It's fine, I'm fine, everything is fine."
My kids would say, if you have to wear a sweatshirt that says you're a cool mom, automatically you're not a cool mom.
I know. But I
You
get
should make a
pictures
sweatshirt
back
that
from
says
my
that.
customers, and they're pretty
That-
cool.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Talk
it's
about oh, go
just
ahead. I'm sorry.
whatever's interesting to me, I try to make, and I'm a huge reader, as I know Sherry is. And
That
I
was
just thought,
another thing. Yeah, a gift.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
a
I read
fellow
all
book file.
the time. Hmm. And I thought, oh, this would be fun, the mystery date with a book. And so people will order the book box and check off what kind of genre they're interested in reading, and then also what kind of drink they like, if they like coffee or tea or hot cocoa. And it's just kind of a hug in a box. You open
Oh,
it up and you get this book that somebody that I've picked out for you, or suggestions from a friend, or they'll send me their Goodreads link, so I can go in and see what they're wanting to read, or what kind of genre or what they're interested in. And then it's just filled with like little treats, like a candle or a bath bomb, or some chocolate, a drink, a mug, a book, just everything you need just to settle down and cozy in for a night.
wow. That's really
So,
cool.
but there's one piece of this that you didn't mention that is so intriguing.
Oh,
So
what's that?
where do those books come from?
Oh, I have a used bookshop that's not too far from where I live that I love going to. And I mean, it's using a used book. It's not like it's wrinkled or torn or written in or anything, but it's been read, it's been loved,
I love
and
that.
um, it's good for the environment to reuse and pass on. And I go through the bookshop and I'm like, oh, I read that, I loved it. Oh, I think this person would love that book too. And oh, somebody wants a thriller, and oh, I couldn't put this one down. So it's just like I'm trying to make all my customers my best friends. So
Well, that must really help you in your design life, knowing people like that, having that knack of really like people being not, I guess, for lack of a better word, vulnerable to you and open to you, that you get to know people, and then you can create these experiences around how you know people and pictures and things. So that's a beautiful talent.
yeah. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I never thought of it that way, but
Yeah,
yeah.
you're creating an experience.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
is. It is all around experience, but it's not just. But what I love is that Jen gets to experience what she loves
Mm-hmm.
by going to the bookstore,
Yeah.
looking at the books, right? And so you found a
Mhm.
way. Excuse me. You found another way,
To be intentional.
or organically, to be intentional and do what
Mhm.
you love, and also, uh, for lack of better words, get paid for doing what you love, right?
But
Mm-hmm.
doesn't it feel good to make other people feel good too? And
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and you have your girlfriends and everything, and you read something or you watch something and you enjoy it, and you want to pass that on, and share it with everybody.
And so that I think Jen is an avocado
Advocate,
advocate.
for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's we just launched a program, the Avocado Advocates, and the point is to give people it's a big part of our goal is to create experiences, just what you said, Jen, that people love, they feel good about, and they want to share it with their friends, so we can make it easy for people to share. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you and I have talked about this before, with everything that's happened in the world and the pandemic. We're really looking for connection now, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
And so when we do see something or read something that we enjoy, we want to share that so other people will enjoy it as well.
And feel good.
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
Well, speaking of shared, another side note about my daughter, she wanted to do some wrapping. She's like, "Oh, mom, I'll take your old Good Fat Life magazines and wrap presents with them because they're so beautiful." And she
Oh, I
did,
love
and they really are beautiful. The packages that she wrapped with the magazine.
Oh my
And so,
gosh.
yeah. So I thought that was really a lovely extension
Beautiful.
of the magazine as well. So you created that experience, and now people are going to get a gift with your graphics on
Repurposed.
it. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, and
That
we
is
had another one of our uh, readers say that uh, say to another person, she's like, ask to get all of the back issues because they are so full of good information that you don't want to throw them away.
Mm-hmm.
Just find a space to keep them.
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
love the fact that there's like multiple uses,
Mm-hmm.
and that was one of the big reasons that we didn't want to go into the like bookstores, like Barnes and Noble or the bookstores, because it's like 75% of those magazines just get thrown away.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
That don't get sold, they get thrown away, and so ours don't
Yeah.
apparently,
Yeah.
which is good.
Yeah. But they're so lovely. You just want to keep them, and they really are beautiful, and just your eye is incredible. What do you attribute that to? Is that something you were born with, or something are you always looking at different inspirations?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. Well, I'm always like flipping. I get a lot of magazines delivered to my house, and I'm always flipping through and did I just started. A friend of mine just started me doing like vision boards, and just things that are pretty, colors, fonts.
Mm-hmm.
Fonts.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but sometimes I don't know. Maybe it's a combination of both because sometimes I can read these stories and it's just like the way the stories make me feel and the information make me feel. So then I try to find a picture that will elicit that feeling as well. You
Wow,
know.
that's very mindful and beautiful to be able to
It,
portray an essence of something. That's a true artist.
Oh
Yeah,
well,
right.
thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
I told
It
you
is.
she was
Yeah,
so inspiring.
you really are.
It's
For sure.
Yeah, she just has a great vision.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so what's do you have any thoughts on your next creative thing? Um,
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Some friends and I here in Illinois, we enjoy politics, and the ever changing world, and we're always trying to look for ways to make our community better. So, I just again, I found a group that was doing like food drives and getting supplies for and volunteers for like the crisis center that's around here. And again, I reached out to them and like I can make brochures for you, or I can make uh, Facebook
wow,
graphics for you. So
Mm-hmm.
what
I
a
don't know.
gift that is!
Yeah.
It's just whatever hits my heart at that time, and
Mm-hmm.
just want to try to help and make things better, I guess.
Well, you definitely are doing that for us and for our magazine. So tell us about how the process. Can you tell us a little bit about the process? So when we send the information to you for the magazine, how does that work, or what is your artistic process? Do you kind of lay it out, or?
Yeah, I Sherry and I work really well together, and so it's always nice to hear. There's usually a theme,
Mm-hmm.
for each publication, and to hear what her vision is for the magazines, and so that really, is always in the back of my mind to find photos and images that go with the theme, and yeah, we just chat, and then I read the articles, and just go from there, and just try to make things, colorful and fun and interesting. I think
Mhm.
when, like, a couple of years ago, we had a conversation, and you were like, I want every page to be just have a little something on there, even if it's just the avocado,
Mhm.
just something that catches your eye and just makes you smile. And so that's why I really love working on your publication, because I try to make every page, make somebody smile on it.
It does feel like you're with your best friend. Like when you
Yeah.
flip through it, it's very comforting. And that comes from both of you guys. Um, I totally lost my thought. Sorry. Go ahead, Sherry.
No, no worries. But and that's the other part of it is uh, we want to have articles too that make you think,
Hmm.
not crazy think,
Mm-hmm.
but think a little deeper. Kind of help. And I think your graphics, the way that you lay them out, are. Um, I don't want to say surface. What's a good word, Karen? It's not just a surface picture. You do a
Thought
great job of
provoking.
finding a picture that kind of draws people in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like maybe I want to know more because
Mm-hmm.
the picture makes me want to know more,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
It
Yeah. And
inspires
I know.
curiosity.
Yeah, that's a
Mm-hmm.
great way to put it.
Yeah.
And I think, after knowing you for these past years, you want to be I know you want to be very mindful of the images that we're putting out,
Mm-hmm.
in the universe. And so, yeah, I want to find things that represent all people and shape sizes and
Mm-hmm.
every ethnicity and every, corner of the world. We want to bring everybody in.
Right.
That's so important. Have you had any disasters that you've put together? I know you haven't had it with our magazine, or we haven't seen we haven't seen anything that looks like a disaster from you. Everything's beautiful, but I'm sure
I
you've
know.
had moments where you're just like, scrap it, forget it. What am I doing here, kind of thing. Have you had those moments?
Um, yeah, sometimes. I mean, when I first started my Etsy store, I was all over the place. I'd go to flea markets and craft shows, and be like, oh, I love that. And maybe I need to learn how to knit, or maybe I need to learn how to do embroidery, or maybe I need to learn how to paint, because
Mm-hmm.
they have those great signs with all the sayings on them and stuff too. And so I did like coffee mugs and drink tumblers for a while with vinyl, and I hated working with vinyl. It always tore. It didn't cut right. I could never get it on straight, and then I'd have to like scrape it all off and wash it. It was just always a whole process. And so, yeah, I don't have any more vinyl in my.
But I love the way you describe that, Jennifer, because it's all these are all processes, right? It's
Hmm.
you try stuff and you see how it works, and then to Karen's point, some things you just go next, right?
Yeah.
Thanks
Hmm.
for sharing.
And it sounds like with your point of view and following a North Star, you have probably that's not happening to you as much because you stick to your vision and the things that are important to you and light you up. So I've
Hmm.
known in my life when I've had disasters like that, it's usually because I'm in a place where I'm not supposed to be. I'm supposed to move on, or or it's just not my thing, like vinyl to you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
yeah, and there's even been, other publications that I've worked on briefly where I'm just not really vibing with the content. Um, there was one in the very beginning, I felt like I always had to say yes to everything because
Mm-hmm.
that might be the last job that ever came my way, and I didn't want to pass it up or anything. And I designed 2 issues of a magazine, and it was entitled Tattooed Hotties. And I had my computer and my workstation was set up in a desk at a desk in the kitchen, and the kids were running in and out. And I remember I was like working on one of the page layouts, and my son came up and he's like, "What is that?" And I'm like, it's nothing. Like, turn it off. And I'm just like, I just can't relate, you know.
Mm.
It wasn't that it was bad or,
It just
you
wasn't
know,
your jam,
obscene or
right?
anything
Yeah.
like that. It was just, you know, I have like one little tiny tattoo. I'm not into the sleeves. Other people are, and that's fantastic. But I just like, I can't, I don't think I'm doing it justice because this isn't something that I'm interested in. You know, I
Well, this is an interesting topic because that is really smart as a woman too to let those things go and to know, like, I'm not doing you a service by
right,
trying to
right,
hold on to this, right? And I think a lot of
right.
times we try to just go, we do our best and say be yes people, but really we're not doing the other person a favor either when we're trying to. We know we're not giving. They need somebody else with a different gift. Yeah. So
Right.
that's
And
very
as I
mature.
get older, it's easier to see that.
Yeah.
And I just, there's times where I've just said, listen, I'm afraid I'm wasting your time. I mean, we're putting out an okay product. It could be so much better if you had the right person, working on it because I just don't feel like I'm up to that task. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I'd love to help you, but it's not something that, is in my wheelhouse or I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
But
no,
Or
there's
that makes
maybe
sense.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not your, just not your, you're not vibing with it.
But
mhm,
there's something that's just wonderful when we get to that place
Mm-hmm.
where we can just say it's no judgment.
Mm-hmm.
This is
no.
not bad or good or anything. It's just not a fit with me,
Mm-hmm.
and that's
Mhm,
all. And that's all okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
mhm.
Yeah, just so what inspires you, Jen? Like, are you all day long? Are you just looking for inspiration? Are you really a visual person, textural, like all the above? Is it a kid or a friend or all of it?
I don't know, I mean, if I was trying to be inspired all day, every day, that would be exhausting.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's what I try to
Too
do.
much sensory overload,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It just like every now and then, like talking to a friend, really just talking to a good friend and hearing what they have to say or what they found funny
Mm-hmm.
or a lot of insights that they give me. That's really inspiring. So I guess I take it from other people
Mm-hmm.
mostly. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Are
yeah.
you always a visual person? Are you able to? Are you also more a content person as well? Like, are you a person that you can take the content and turn it visual, or could you also do it the opposite and do the visual to content? I think that's an
Oh,
interesting concept.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
I would like to be a visual person and turn it to content. My daughter is an excellent writer,
Mm-hmm.
and the things I love what she conjures, when
Mm-hmm.
she's reading me one of her stories or her essays or something. So I would really love to be able to see something and be able to write it down to put out that vision, that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm the opposite, I
Yeah.
guess.
Right.
but how
I
cool
never
that you
really thought of it that way, but I wish I was a better writer. I really do.
Yeah, but a lot. So I think it's very interesting because a lot of people can't do it visually, but they can do. You know what I mean? So I just find that
Mhm.
fascinating how
yeah.
some people gravitate towards different things, and there's those lucky people that can do all of it. And I think Sherry, you're able to do both. You're able to
Oh,
see both.
well,
Yeah.
thank you. I was just thinking, wow, wow, I would love to be better at both,
Well,
right?
yeah, of
It's a
course. Yeah.
process.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jen, it's just every time I hear you talk, I just get so inspired, and
Oh, thank
I'm
you.
so grateful, Karen, right, that she's
Yeah.
part of our
Oh,
team,
yeah.
and it's here having this conversation reminds me of how many steps we've gone through just
Mm-hmm.
to get here,
Mhm.
and how in so many ways it's been painless because the person when we do trust, kind of like you said, jump in the net, trust the net's going to be there. It has been.
Mm-hmm.
It really has been.
Mm-hmm. And it's been a beautifully designed net.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well,
So
I'm really
Good.
enjoyed our process together too, because it's always fun to go back to the beginning and see, what everything looked like when we were just getting to know each other. And you can definitely see
The
that we know
maturity.
each other much better now,
Right.
from the design and the content and just the way everything flows.
Oh, what a lovely
Yeah.
representation of that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Yeah. We can't take those things for granted either, right? So it's not just a magazine, it's also a representation of a
A
relationship that
relationship.
grew. Yeah.
Oh
And to be
wow,
able to
that's
exchange the creativity and to understand each other's creativity, that's really something.
Right.
If you just had that, Sherry, that's enough to have a magazine.
that,
Really, honestly. When you
that
think about how
is.
special that is.
I just got those chills. I just
Oh, good.
yeah, that is a beautiful thought, and I would have to say it's the process and the journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've noticed that I so look forward to everything Good Fat Life related, to our podcast, working together, and to sharing people's stories and working on the magazine, right? It's an adventure. Every
Hmm.
time we sit down to do a magazine, it's like an adventure. We just don't know what it's going to be like
Mm-hmm.
until
I
it's done.
know. I get so excited when I start seeing your emails pop up, like we're getting ready, and then you tell me what the theme is. I'm like, ooh, that's
Yeah.
exciting. And
And this
so,
one coming up is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
We'll have
Yeah,
some fun.
and then I everything it's like that clouds everything, or not cloud in a bad way though, because everything that I'm looking at from then on, I'm like, oh, that would be a great picture. And then I'll save like a folder full of images or colors, and like see if we can use that, in anything. And so yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
Jen, if somebody designed a magazine, like a front cover of who you are, what would that look like? What would be on the front cover of that?
That's tough. I don't know. It'd probably just be a bunch of swirly bright colors.
Yeah, that's
I have
beautiful.
I have so many things in my head, and there's still so many things that I want to do. So, yeah, maybe I
Yeah.
have ADD or ADHD.
Yeah.
A lot of
Y-
brilliant
Yeah.
yeah.
artists do. Yeah, that's
Most
okay.
people,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So, Jen, if people want to go to your Etsy store, where would they find you?
My store is called Wicked Chicken Designs.
That's awesome.
So it would be Etsy store / shop / Wicked Chicken Designs. And it's because I love chickens. Every woman in my family has always had chickens. And so it's kind of a nod to my great aunt Josephine, whose farm I loved visiting when I was a child. And she had chickens and she had cats and she had dogs,
Hmm.
and she took in
Well,
every stray. Loved it.
awesome. Well,
Wow.
our tech guy who you spoke with prior to the show, Johnny, he's one of our favorite people. He's also big chicken fan, and we
Oh,
hear all about him and his chickens.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
chickens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's down a couple wicked chickens lately because
Yeah.
they got, but yeah.
Well, it has been such a joy
Yeah.
talking to you and seeing you for the first
I
time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
know.
That is
This
so
is
funny.
nice.
And what's
Yeah.
nice to see is that your creativity and the joy that you have in your life and the things that show in your magazine and your designs, you can see it in your face too. You can just see the light in your face and it shows in the magazine and the things you do. So that's wonderful. We love that here at Good Fat Life.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
thank
So
you.
so
Thank you.
Jen's
Thank you.
Jen's living the good fat
She is
life,
living the
right?
good fat
Yes, you
life.
are
So,
living the good fat life.
so
I
thank you
am.
so much for joining us and sharing your gifts with us today.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you for having me. It's been a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And
Well,
I
good.
loved seeing you ladies together and in person. Um, yeah,
Thank
it's just
you.
going to make everything that we do together that much better because we've had this connection. So,
Right. So I
Absolutely.
look forward to connecting with you in the future in the Good Fat Life.
Yeah.
all right. Thank
So
you.
so that said, we'll go out and live
Live a
our
good,
good fat life,
yeah,
right?
thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.